Did you know that the average American spend about $150 a month on impulse purchases? That's nearly $1,800 a year, often on things we don't need, didn't plan for, and sometimes don't even remember buying. And this is not a budgeting issue, it's a brain issue. You're at Target grabbing something basic, toothpaste or a charger, and then you see a candle, a water bottle, a Bluetooth speaker. Before you know it, your cart's full and none of it was on your list. You didn't mean to overspend, it just happened. That's impulsive buying. And while it feels random, it's not. It's your brain reacting to instant gratification, that quick emotional high you get from something new. And behind that high is a chemical called dopamine, the same one triggered in gambling, social media likes, and even risk taking. According to researchers at Stanford and the University of California, these reward signals can actually override logical decision making, pushing you to spend without thinking through the consequences. So, how do you change that? Well, that's what this video is for. In this video, we're breaking down the psychology behind impulse spending, why your brain is wired to chase the rush, how companies use that against you, and what you can do to take back control. And if you've ever looked at your bank statement and thought, wait, what did I even buy this month? Then this video is for you. Now that we know impulse spending is often driven by how our brain is wired, let's talk about the first step to breaking that habit, which is figuring out what's triggering it. Because these purchases, they don't just happen out of nowhere. Most people don't spend $150 a month on impulse buys because they plan to. It's usually emotional. You're stressed. You're bored. You just got a push notification. You're scrolling Instagram and see someone unboxing a $90 skincare kit. And suddenly, you want it too. It's not the product, it's the feeling behind the purchase. This is how companies hack your psychology. They pair emotional moments with subtle nudges. A limited time offer, a perfectly timed email, or a buy now, pay later button to catch you when your guard is down. And for most of us, we don't realize it's happening. Here's a quick example. A friend of mine used to make impulse purchases late at night. She thought it was just random, but when she actually tracked it, every one of those $40, $70, and $120 Amazon orders came after a stressful day at work. It wasn't about the stuff. It was about escape. How do you fix this? Start paying attention. The next time you catch yourself about to buy something you didn't plan for, pause and ask, what just happened? Am I tired, anxious, bored, scrolling? Even jotting it down in your notes app for a week can reveal patterns you didn't know were there. Because once you know what sets off the impulse, you can start to outsmart it. Once you start recognizing your spending triggers, the next move is simple. Slow yourself down. Impulse buying is all about urgency. Your brain gets a hit of dopamine and it wants to act right now before that feeling fades. That's why stores push one-day sales, why Amazon has buy now buttons, why your favorite brand texts you with only 2 left at 8 p.m. on a Thursday. It's all designed to short-circuit your logic. Here's the fix. Create a cooling off window, 24 to 48 hours, before you buy anything that isn't essential. I started doing this myself after catching a pattern. I'd scroll TikTok, see someone reviewing a $140 kitchen gadget, and immediately convince myself I needed it. Now, I pause. I add it to a list titled Stuff I Might Still Want in 2 days. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, I forget it was ever on the list. Because once the emotional rush wears off, most of those must-haves turn out to be nice-to-haves. And sometimes, not even that. The science backs it up too. Studies show that when you delay a decision, even by 24 hours, your brain shifts from the emotional center to the logical part, meaning you're far more likely to ask smart questions like, do I really need this? Will I still value it in a month from now? Now, even if you catch your triggers and give yourself a 48-hour pause, you're still human, and sometimes you just want the thing. And that's okay, because trying to eliminate all impulse spending, that's not discipline, that's deprivation. And deprivation often backfires. You hold out for weeks, then drop $300 in one random weekend just to feel something. That's why this next step is about balance. Budget for pleasure. The psychology is simple. When you give yourself controlled freedom, you reduce guilt and increase sustainability. It's like building a diet with a cheat day. You're far more likely to stick with it. On the other hand, you save hard all month, skip every little treat, and then, out of nowhere, spend $300 on something random because, well, you just hit your breaking point. That's where this step comes in. Psychologically, when you restrict yourself too tightly, you create a sense of scarcity, and scarcity triggers emotional spending. But when you plan for the occasional retreat, it turns impulse into intention. I have a friend who used to feel guilty every time she spent money on small things: a $9 latte, a $40 dinner out, a $22 scented candle. So she'd cut herself off completely. No fun spending. But by week 3, she'd crash and end up with $200 of stuff she didn't even want. Now, she sets aside $150 a month just for whatever money. Impulse friendly, zero guilt. It keeps her happy and on track financially. And if you want to make this even more real and tactile, try the envelope system. It's old school, but it works. You take actual cash and divide it into envelopes: groceries, gas, fun, personal care. Let's say you set aside $200 in your discretionary envelope for the month. Once that cash is gone, you're done. Why does this work? Because when you use physical money, it feels real. Swiping a card is abstract, but handing over $60 in bills? That lands differently. The envelope system forces mindfulness. You see the limit, you feel it, and that naturally keeps your impulse spending in check. You don't have to live on cash forever, but even trying this for a couple of months can reset your relationship with spending. So here's the bottom line: don't just restrict, design. Build a system that allows joy and control, so you're not constantly swinging between guilt and overindulgence. Impulse buying doesn't disappear overnight, but with structure and a little space for fun, you stop letting it control you. Once you've got a spending plan that actually includes pleasure, here's the next thing to understand. Impulse spending isn't always about the stuff, it's about the feeling. And for that, we can seek alternative rewards. Most of the time, we're not buying things, we're chasing a mood shift. That $60 pair of sneakers you didn't need? It wasn't about the footwear, it was about the reward, comfort, control. That's the psychology here. Your brain is wired to seek relief, especially when you're bored, stressed, overwhelmed, or emotionally drained. And since dopamine is the feel good chemical tied to rewards, it doesn't care whether the boost comes from buying a new $120 jacket or just getting outside for a walk. It just wants the hit. So the key is this: don't just remove spending, replace it. I had a friend who used to go shopping every time she had a rough day at work. She wasn't blowing thousands, but she'd regularly drop $40 to $70 on random beauty or home items: candles, skin serums, throw blankets. She'd feel better for like an hour. Then the guilt would set in, not just of your wallet, but of your emotional habits, your long term goals, and your relationship with money as a whole. And if this video gave you some clarity, you'll probably want to check out this next video: Financial Self-Sabotage, the Hidden Psychology Behind Your Money Mistakes. It discusses deeper into how hidden mental patterns quietly wreck your finances and how to reverse them. And if you're into practical psychology-backed advice that actually makes money feel manageable, subscribe to the channel. We've got more like this coming your way. Thanks for watching.